Hello, welcome. This is the Resilient Rooster. I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm going to be showcasing Infernoid. So in this Infernoid deck, I'm not playing any last one cards besides Minerva in the extra deck. The reason why is because I want to try to take advantage of the Reasoning and Monster Gate. I'm only running 6 target, which is the 3 Decatron, the 2 Fairy Tale Snow, and the Lone Driver. This deck is basically catered to go second. We have cards like Void Banishment to search the Void Imagination to help you break boards. You basically want to summon the Tiara and from Tiara you want to send the Elder Entity Netis to break the boards. And if you do go first, you want to search the Void Feast, which is probably like the best trap card in Infernoids, since you can special summon up to 3 Inferno monsters, which is a lot. So that's it for my deck. Let's get on to the replays. So in this first replay, I'm playing against World Chalice, and World Chalice gets to go first. And they played this very smart. I gambled the Venus, but I thought I would stop their whole play, but they had like the perfect hand to come back. But the good news is I built this deck just to go second. So I have the Dark Hole and the Reasoning and the Void Imagination, all 3 good cards. So hopefully they don't like summon the Gamma Seal, which would suck since that basically can negate my whole hand. Hopefully my 6th card will be useful too. So they were smart that they basically were able to Monster Reborn their Venus and just go off from there. And I had no hand traps besides the Gamma. And that's the problem with this deck too, because if you run too many hand traps, then your Reasoning won't be as good. So I guess if you want to take out the Reasoning, you can't play hand traps. So my opponent gets to draw 3 cards from the Ningirsu, and I'm basically hoping that they don't draw a Gamma Seal, which they don't. So that's pretty good. They keep linking up, and they only have 3 cards in the extra deck, which I guess the weakness of World Chalice is if you go through your whole extra deck, you basically lose. And when I make the Tiara, I can basically go through their whole extra deck, since Tiara can banish 3 or send 3 cards from the extra deck to the grave. So I baited out the Dark Hole, and I basically summoned my Tiara, and I get rid of the whole field. You probably should use the Elder Entity Netis to get rid of your Tiara. That way you can summon Infernoids from your graveyard, because it's level 11, which conflicts with Infernoid's restriction of special summoning when it's 8 or lower stars. So I play Reasoning, and all of a sudden I get so much cards in the grave, which is very good. But the problem is you just can't special summon any, because Tiara is a level 11, which is higher than 8. I do have a graveyard set though, so I should be fine. I think my opponent called a 1, so as soon as I see a Decatron, it stops, and I milled a whole bunch of cards. They protected the monster with World Legacy Heart, but there's nothing that they can do since their extra deck is gone. I'm not sure what they can do. They probably have to, if they had one of the World Legacy Heart, I believe, that they could recover, but I believe that's just a one-off in the deck. So I basically top deck a Decatron, which is very good. It gives me enough to basically summon my dual little Chimera, and I basically can sort of go off at this point. I was able to get rid of their whole field, and when Seismith attacks, you can basically banish a card. So I basically got rid of their whole field, and I basically tried to banish all their resource cards in the graveyard. I made the Red Eye Slayer Metal Dragon, and it's pretty much game over at this point. In this next game, I'm playing against Spiral, and lucky for me, they had the Resort in hand, which basically means that their Master Plan can't use the graveyard effect. But their Spiral Resort basically allows them to use the Quick Fix and allows them to use the Double Summon. So I guess their opening was pretty decent, but I'm playing a build that goes second. So right now I have the Void Banishment, which can search the Imagination. So right now, as long as they don't have any negates, or if they can't summon the Sleeper, I should be good. They got the Raigeki from the Princess Bride, but lucky for me, they ended their turn. So I try to make a play. 1-for-1, and I get the Decatron. I send the Onoku, so that way I can negate the spell and trap. I had to do this because if I sent the Patrulia, Deco Talker could have tribute one of the monsters and just negate it. So this was the better play. And next, I basically summon the Tiara, and the Elder Entity, and that just basically gets rid of their whole field. I probably should have destroyed my Tiara, that way I can actually summon from my graveyard, since this Tiara basically takes up the slot. But I still was happy because I had the Void Feast, and Void Feast basically sets up to where they can't use spells, traps, and monster effects. I probably should have activated this before they Regeki, that way I could protect it, but I think that this was probably the better play. They called wrong on their double helix, and at this point I basically think I had game. I made the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon because I could basically tribute this card to summon an Odd Eyes card from my extra deck. So I tributed it, I summoned my Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, and basically attack for game. This is one of the duels where I went first. So if you go first, your objective is see if you can get the grass or reasoning, and if you don't, the next option is you get Void Feast. And Void Feast is good because you basically can summon 3 cards and they all do something. They can tribute to Banish from the Grave, and you can negate spells and traps with one of them and other monsters. My opponent sent a card, but I was able just to banish their Dark Worm. Maybe I should have banished the Strudel, but I felt confident that I could basically just negate it. So now, since my Void Banishment didn't leave the field, I could just search another Void Feast. And if anything goes wrong, if they can somehow summon from the extra deck, then Void Imagination will just help me through the rest. So this is pretty good. I have the ability to do a lot of stuff. You can also link out if you need more space. But right now I felt like having more negate is good for now, since I don't really think I have enough in my graveyard to push for game. And basically, I think at this point I felt pretty confident, so I started linking out and basically just attack for game. It's good that the Doolittle Chimera gives you a 500 attack boost. In this next game against dinosaurs, I basically opened up broken. I got the grass and reasoning. My opponent gets to go first though, so they make a board to stop my 2 cards and it'll be problematic. They do end up making Logia and Conductor, but I feel like these are very easy to bait. I summoned a Decatron, and since Logia can't really negate monster effects, I was gonna try to get rid of the Logia, that way I could just use my power cards, but he ended up using his Conductor, and then I summoned my Harmonic and he finally negated my summon. But at this point, since I baited both of them out, I can use my Reasoning and Nightgrass, and this basically helps me mill almost my whole deck. I only have 20 cards left. I tried to use my Fairytale Snow to book the Conductor, but they ended up using the Miscellaneousaurus, and I just made the Minerva, mill more cards. And at this point, I really like summoning Scythemist, since I could basically tribute, or not tribute, at the end of the battle phase I could tribute or banish a card, and it's non-targeting. And also I tributed my Decatron, that way I could just get rid of his Miscellaneousaurus, make him have no plays. They tried a Monster Reborn, but I could just tribute my Scythemist and basically banish whatever they're gonna reborn. And at this point it's basically game. You make the absolute Odd Eyes and the Tundell and basically attack for game. Tribute the Odd Eyes and made Odd Eyes Raging, and boom. I feel with the amount of power cards that Infernoids have, it's better to make a build going second build. You have cards like Onuku, which basically can destroy the monsters. You have the Deviati, which can destroy the spells and traps. And then you have a card like Showdown Fusion, which is called Void Imagination. You basically can send 6 cards from your deck to the grave if they control an extra deck monster. My opponent sort of misplays here because they accidentally added the B. If the B was in your graveyard, they could have made the ABC Buster Dragon. But I think in the long run, it probably didn't matter, since I would have been able to summon Decatron anyway and just use the effect, and they couldn't do anything since I had the Void Seer. So they could have banished my Decatron. So that means that I could use my Monster Gate soon after. And this Monster Gate goes very deep in my deck. I believe I milled another Decatron. And this Decatron is gonna bounce, I believe, or not bounce, send the Unnatural, which bounces the C to the hand. I don't want them to float, that way I could just attack for game. So I make the dual little Chimera, and I summon on Tundale and Deviati. I summoned on Tundale so I could attack twice and just attack for game. So that's it for the replays. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a great day.